very good morning to you students. So today we are going to see the second part of Discovering Tut. The saga continues, written by A.R. Williams. So before going into the lesson, we'll see a small recap of our previous class. So now we'll see the recap of our previous classes. So this lesson, Discovering Tut, the saga continues. It was written by A.R. Williams. So here there was a person who was known as King Tut. His name was Tutankhamun. So he was a teenager when he was died, and he was the last successor of his powerful Pharaoh dynasty. So he ruled Egypt for over 9 years, and when he died, the tomb was heavily loaded with gold, and finally his tomb was discovered in 1922, which made the world raise a question about what happened to him and whether he had been murdered or not. So after almost 80 years, his body was about to undergo a CT scan research, which would give a new information and clues about his life and death. So his face was recreated with the help of a procedure called forensic reconstruction. So after discovering the tomb and after discovering the body of the king, it took almost a few months to record the treasures found in Tut's grave. So they began investigating the 3 coffins which they discovered inside the tomb. And in the first coffin, they found a piece of cloth with garlands of willow, olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals and cornflower and so many flowers. So it has been identified that the person, he would have been buried in the months of March or April. Maybe it would have been a springtime. So then they reach the 3rd coffin, and in that 3rd coffin they find the body of the king. So the body was cemented and it stuck to the bottom of the coffin, which was made of gold. So it was almost 80 years, so they couldn't able to separate the coffin and the body. So they started doing all the procedures to separate the body and the coffins. So finally they separated the body and the tomb, and they shifted the body to the research center. So in 1968, an anatomy professor x-rayed King Tut's mummy, and he revealed that the front limbs and the breastbones were missing. So it made the people curious about the mystery behind his death. So now with the help of CT scan, with the help of this technology, King Tut's body would be scanned to find the answers for the 2 questions: how he died and how old was he at the time of his death. Because his death was a huge shock to the royal people. Also, he was the last person of his family, and his funeral indicated the diminishment of his dynasty. So he was the last heir of his family. So the royal people, they were in huge shock when they found the person died in his very young age. So they wanted to know about the answers. They wanted to know about the mystery, what happened behind the death of King Tut. So this is what we saw in our previous class. Now we will go on to the rest of the lines. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades at the height of 18th dynasty's golden age. His son Amenhotep IV succeeded him and initiated one of the strangest periods in the history of ancient Egypt. The new pharaoh promoted the worship of the Aten, the sun disk, changed his name to Akhenaten or servant of Aten, and moved the religious capital from the old city of Thebes to the new city of Akhetaten, known now as Amarna. He further shocked the country by attacking Amun, a major god, smashing his images and closing his temples. It must have been a horrific time, said Ray Johnson, director of the University of Chicago's Research Center in Luxor, the site of ancient Thebes. The family that had ruled for centuries was coming to an end, and then Akhenaten went a little wacky. Here wacky means amusing in a slightly odd way. So here Tut's father or grandfather, his name was Amenhotep III. So he was a very powerful pharaoh who ruled over a period of 40 years. So after his ruling, his son Amenhotep IV, he succeeded him and began the strangest period in the history of Egypt. So under the rule of Amenhotep, everything was very strange because he promoted the worship of Aten. He was a sun disk, so he changed his name to Akhenaten, meaning he was a servant of Athens. And he also shifted the religious capital from Thebes to a new city of Akhenaten, called, now it's known as Amarna. and he attacked Amun, a major god at that time, and he threw up his images. He smashed all the images and he closed all the temples all over the place. So this was said by the director of University of Chicago. His name is Ray Johnson. He also said that it must have been a very bad time for the empire because the family who ruled for centuries, it came to an end at the ruling of Akhenaten. After Akhenaten's death, a mysterious ruler named Smenkhare appeared briefly and exited with hardly a trace. And then a very young Tutankhaten took the throne, King Tut as he is widely known today. The boy king soon changed his name to Tutankhamun, living image of Amun, and oversaw a restoration of the old ways. He reigned for about 9 years and then died unexpectedly. Regardless of his fame and speculations about his fate, Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. How many? No one knows. The Egyptian Mummy Project, which began an inventory in late 2003, has recorded almost 600 so far and is still counting. The next phase, scanning the mummies with a portable CT machine donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens, its manufacturer. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life, moving regally ahead of its countrymen. So after Akhenaten's death, another mysterious ruler, Smenkhare, he succeeded him and he also died very soon. So next, Tutankhamun, also known as Tut, he sat on the throne and he ruled for 9 years. So he was a worshipper of god Amun, a major god, and so he continued the old ways. He transformed the old ways again, and he died mysteriously after 9 years of rule. So Tut is one of the mummies in Egypt. So until now, with the help of Egyptian Mummies Project, which started in 2003, almost 600 mummies have been scanned so far. So King Tut's mummy was first one to be scanned by CT under the next phase of scanning the mummies with a machine donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens. A CT machine scanned the mummy head to toe, creating 1700 digital X-ray images in cross-section. Tut's head, scanned in 0.62 mm slices to register its intricate structures, takes an air detail in the resulting image. With Tut's entire body similarly recorded, a team of specialists in radiology, forensics and anatomy began to probe the secrets that the winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. Earth detail means a strange image of Tut's head as it's visible with the help of CT scan, and forensics means it's an application of a scientific method used to investigate a crime. So anatomy is a branch of science which deals with the structure of humans or animals or any other living beings. So here the CT scan machine, it scanned the body by creating 1700 digital X-rays in cross sections. So the Tut's head, it was scanned in 0.62 mm slices to record every tiny details. So the result of the image was very strange, and the team of radiology, forensic people and anatomy experts, they started examining the secrets of the grave that had been protected by the flying goddess for a long time. So there were so many secrets, mysteries behind the death of King Tut. So the experts of a team of radiology, forensic and anatomy team, they started examining the secrets. The night of the scan, workmen carried Tut from the tomb in his box. Like pallbearers, they climbed a ramp and a flight of stairs into the swirling sand outside, then rose on a hydraulic lift into the trailer that held the scanner. 20 minutes later, two men emerged, sprinted for an office nearby and returned with a pair of white plastic fans. The $1 million scanner had quit because of the sand in a cooler fan. Cause of the paro, joked a god nervously. Eventually, the substitute fans worked well enough to finish the procedure. After checking that no data had been lost, the technicians turned Tut over to the workman who carried him back to his tomb. Less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin, the paro again rested in peace, where the funerary priest has laid him so long ago. Pallbearers means a person who helps to escort a coffin at a funeral, and swirling means to spin, and hydraulic lift means a lift that uses a machine to lift or move heavy objects with a pressure. So during the night, the workmen, they climbed upon the ramp and the flights of the stars to carry the body from the tomb into the spinning sand outside. So they picked up the body into a hydraulic lift and then into a trailer where the scanner was kept. So after 20 minutes later, two men, they ran towards the office nearby to bring two fans. So the scanner was not working as the sand had entered a cooler fan. So one god was there, and he was joking that it was because of the curse of Paro, because they had removed his body from the tomb. Once and again the other fans, they started working. So once the fans started working, the procedure was finished. So the data was checked twice or thrice in case of any losses, and then the technicians, they returned the body to the pallbearers, to the workmen. So they carried him back to his tomb, and in less than 3 hours he was resting at the same place where the priest had laid him many years ago. So after the 3 hours of work, they shifted back the body to the original place, to his original tomb. Back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing images of Tut on a computer screen. A grey head took shape from a scattering of pixels, and the technician spun and tilted it in every direction. Neck vertebrae appeared as clearly as in an anatomy class. Other images revealed a hand, several views of rib cage, and a transection of the skull. But for now the pressure was off. Sitting back in his chair, Zahi Hawass smiled, visibly relieved that nothing has gone seriously wrong. I didn't sleep last night, not for a second, he said. I was so worried, but now I think I will go and sleep. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. The wind air lay cold and still, like death itself, in this valley of the departed, just above the entrance to Tut's tomb. So Stud Orion means the constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. Some god is watching over the boy king. So that means Stud Orion. Astonishing means amazing, and pixel means a pixel is a single point in a graphic image, and vertebrae means a series of small bones which form a backbone. So in the trailer, the technician, he showed a very beautiful image of Tut on a computer screen, and he showed the grey head which was scattered in pixels, and he spinned it around repeatedly. Next, the vertebrae, hand, rib cage, and the transection of skull were shown, and he was watching the images. So finally, the work was done, and the pressure was finally off from the shoulders of Zahi Hawass. So he was relaxed, and while he was sitting in his chair, he smiled and he said that he was relieved because nothing went wrong. And he was saying that he did not sleep the previous night, and now since the work was done, he would go to sleep. By the time they left the trailer, they closed everything since the work was done, and they left the place. So by the time they left the trailer, the wind had stopped, and the winter air was like death itself. So the outside climate was very breezy, it was very cold, and it looked like, it felt like the winter air was like a death. So just above the tomb of Orion constellations shone in the night sky, watching over the boy king. So it felt like someone from the above clouds, someone from above Orion constellation, it was watching over the body of the boy king. So it felt like death, something bad happened, something mysterious over the body, and the story finishes just like that. Mysteriously, the prose piece, it finishes off just like that. So I hope you all understood and know what has been discussed in this prose piece. So this chapter is about the last heir of the powerful Paro dynasty, Tutankhamun, who was widely known as King Tut, who died when he was a teenager after ruling for 9 years. So he died in a mysterious way. So this chapter, it throws a light over all the possible mysteries, the curse where his tomb lies and his life, and the mysteries behind the death. So everything, the scanning process, when the tomb was found, so the detailed description, everything was seen in this prose piece. So kindly go through the text again and again for better understanding. Thank you so much. Have a great day.